Hello, this is Michael again. By this time you should have created a master contact sheet and you've created a form that you can grade papers with. So now that our form is created and our contact sheet is created, we need to do a few things. We need to create a form response sheet that has the highest possible grade that a student could get, so basically getting everything correct. And we need to link our contact sheet with the form response sheet. And this will allow Formule and CopyDown to figure out who to email the grades to and to get those emails set up. So this video is only going to show you a few things. We're going to create the form response sheet, and then we're going to link the master contact sheet. So assuming we just finished with our grader, we have it like this. At the very end of the last video I showed you how to look at the grader. So we're going to go ahead and hit preview. Okay, now what I've done is I've created my own little mini profile that I can use to set up the grading calculator correctly and also to test if it works well. You don't want to use student numbers for this because then they might get emails that may not be accurate or may not be necessarily intended for them. So my student ID number for mine is 123456. You can use your actual ID number if you want. I use 123456. So the purpose of this right here is to set the standard grade. So if somebody did this correctly, this is a grade they'll get. So I put the ID in, and of course, if you did it correctly, you'll get maximum points for everything. So I just click all the maximum points because I'm going to make a calculator to figure out if the student achieved these points, how many points would they have received. And then I'm also, in the next video, going to show you how to make the calculation that will figure out the grade if they received any of these other points. So right now I'm just setting the standard. So I've got my ID in, and I've got all of the top grades right there. And I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. When you hit submit, you get this right here. You have the option of submitting another response. We're going to click that because this gives us then the option of editing. So we're not actually going to submit another response. We're going to click this little edit button up here, edit this form, and we're going to click that. And we'll notice that something has appeared here that was not here earlier. We have a little response button, and a 1 just appeared. That's the one response that I just did. So we're going to click response, and now this turns purple. This is gray now. So now we're on the response sheet. And what the sheet shows you is what the responses are. This is actually pretty good data. When you use forms a lot, you can use this data and help guide you in instruction. And sometimes you can get pretty good real-time data just by looking at this. Right now, though, we're going to use something that's very important. This little green icon is the Google Sheet icon. So we're going to create a spreadsheet out of our responses. We're creating a form response sheet. So I'm going to click that right there. I have some options here. Create a new spreadsheet or selecting an existing spreadsheet. If you're a seasoned user, you may end up selecting an existing spreadsheet for things. I usually don't. I usually like to keep things independent, because once things get intertwined, they can get confusing. So I almost always still create a new spreadsheet, and I'll leave it with the same name as the grader. You can change the name if you want, but this way things kind of go hand in hand and they're easy to find, especially if you make a lot of things. So I'm going to go ahead and hit create. So this will open up Google Sheets, and we notice here down at the bottom it says form responses 1. Oops. There we go, form responses 1, and these are the responses. So now every subsequent response will create a new row, and it'll have a timestamp, it'll have the student ID, and it'll have the score and the title of each one of my domains. Okay, that's very important. Of course, if we look at this form, we notice that we don't really know who this student is. We may remember an ID or two for some students that we see frequently, but the ID number really doesn't give us any information. So we need to be able to access the name and the contact information of every student for whom we submit grades. We do that by connecting the master contact sheet with the form response sheet. Here's how we do this. This is a form response sheet. I'm going to now open up the master contact sheet. So I do that. My master contact sheet will appear here. We went through how we organize this, and it's always organized the same way. And the master contact sheet, one master contact sheet can be added to or connected to any number of forms. So what we're going to do is import the range that is this data into a new tab on our form response sheet. So back to our form response sheet. I'm going to click this little plus sign. That's going to create a new little sheet here. But I don't like sheet 2. I always make mine say contacts, just so that I do things the same way every time. So I'll double click that, and I'm going to type in contacts. So now that's my contact sheet. So this sheet here is going to have all of the information imported from the master contact sheet. I'm not going to copy and paste the information. The reason why I'm not going to copy and paste it is if I make an adjustment to the master contact sheet, I want it to automatically show up here. By importing the range, the only thing we have to adjust if we have an adjustment of an email or a contact or an additional student, the only thing we would have to adjust is the master contact sheet itself. So back to the master contact sheet. Notice the URL at the top. This URL, all Google Sheets have a similar URL, and they're constructed in a similar fashion. Of course, it all looks like gibberish. However, if we notice, we go through, we have a D, and then a /, and then all these numbers here, and then we have another / and the word edit. What we want to copy is all of these numbers between the / after the D and the / before the edit. So whatever your master contact sheet numbers are, doesn't really matter. There's going to be a D / and then all this stuff, and then a / edit. We want to copy everything between the /. So I got this right here, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to copy that. Good. What I copied is the ID code for this sheet. This is the actual ID code. All right, so I'm going to go back to my form response sheet, and I make sure I'm on my contacts sheet that I just created, and I'm going to go up to A1. Click on A1. Okay. Now, we're going to have to be very careful here. I'm going to try to go slow so we understand exactly what we're doing. We're going to import the range of cells from the master contact sheet. So where it says FX up here, so first of all, I clicked on A1. Where it says FX, I'm going to click here. Now my cursor's there, and I'm going to type in this code, equals import range, and then parentheses, and then I'm going to type in a there we go, and I'm going to Control V. So I typed in import range, parentheses, quote, Control V pastes in that big long code, and I'm going to do another quote, so close quote, and then I'm going to hit comma. So basically I said, all right, import the range here from all this, basically saying, all right, import the range from this sheet. But now I need to define the range, so I hit comma, and then I hit another quote, okay? And this is very important here. I don't think I mentioned this on my prior video, but on my master contact sheet, I labeled this sheet students. It may just say sheet 1 if you don't change the name, but whatever this name is, this is named students, I need to make sure that I put this name in my code on my form response sheet. So this is students. I'm going to go back to my form response sheet, and so it's, again, import range, quote, the entire code, I paste it in, quote, comma, another quote, and now I'm going to type in students, and capital letters are important, students, and then exclamation point. And then I'm going to type in the range. Now, I don't remember off the top of my head from A to wherever it ended, so I'm going to do the range A, colon means everything between, and I usually go A to CC. And the reason why I go to CC is it's just going to copy more than enough, so I don't inadvertently copy less than I want. And then I'm going to do close quote and then close parentheses. So again, I did equals import range, parenthesis, quote. I pasted in the code that I got from the top of the URL from the master contact sheet, comma, or then quote, and then comma, quote. Then students, that's the name of the actual sheet on the master contact sheet, exclamation point, and then the range of columns, A to CC, A colon CC, then a quote, and then end parentheses. Now I'm going to hit enter. And when you do that, you get a, it says REF, and you say, oh no, I broke it, it's not going to work. However, all you have to do is click allow access. So I clicked on this A1, click allow access, and it should show my data. There we go. There's all my data. right there. Now, you can't make changes to this data. The reason why is because the data actually lives on the master contact sheet. If I make changes here, they will show up here. So good. Now I have all of my contacts moved over, so I have my form response sheet now, and I have my contacts. Now I'm set up to be able to have my student ID number look up who the student is and what the email addresses are from this sheet here. That'll be on the next video.